Chelsea fans, welcome back to Talking Chelsea. Welcome back to your Chelsea news. We have an injury update regarding Moises Caicedo and Romeo Lavia ahead of Sunday's final. We also speak about Enzo Maresca's pre-match press conference where Levi Colwill, Reece James and Enzo Fernandez all have their say about playing PSG. We also have an update regarding Nicolas Jackson's Chelsea future and what Chelsea value him as, and Petrovic is no longer a Chelsea player. Not only that, but Chelsea face PSG in the FIFA Club World Cup final this Sunday, and we're going to be predicting Chelsea's starting 11. Now, of course, I'll be giving my own thoughts and opinions on everything that's been reported, but more importantly, I want to know what you guys think down below in the comments. And before we get into the video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe if you are a Chelsea fan who enjoys Chelsea content. We're on the road to 10k by the end of 2025. Kicking things off, Bobby Vincent reported what Enzo Maresca said on how difficult it is to prepare for PSG, and he says, for sure, it will be difficult. For me, personally, all of the games are difficult. Fluminense beat Inter Milan and Al Hilal, who beat City. All of these games are difficult. We will try to prepare this game in our best way. He was then asked if PSG were unplayable, and he says, I just said, I agree with most people who say PSG are the best in Europe and the world. They are showing this. We have maximum respect for them. I really enjoy watching them, but we are here to do our best and win the final. He then speaks about PSG's style of play and how much of that he would like to see at Chelsea, and he says, for sure, PSG, their manager, Luis Enrique, is a reference not only for me, but of all the people who love football. At the same time, our style, I think we have shown this season how we want to do things on and off the ball. Maresca then speaks on his tactics, and he says, I really love chess, and I see the similarities between chess and football. At tactical level, I don't believe in chess moves in matches, but the manager must react when the other manager reacts. Of course, this will be a tough chess match against Enrique, but we will try to enjoy it. I really like what Enzo Maresca said in his press conference. There was also another bit which I couldn't find as a reference where they basically said to Maresca, oh, you plan to just not have the ball. How are Chelsea going to play without the ball? And he basically said, who told you that? Who told you we are planning to not have the ball? And I absolutely love how Maresca handled this press conference because he did all the right things. He said, look, PSG are one of the best teams in Europe, if not the world. I really respect how they play. We love how they play. It's a reference to where everyone wants to be. Not just us, but everyone wants to be. Luis Enrique is doing a fantastic job, and let's be honest, he's doing an immense job. PSG are striking fear into every opponent. They're battering anyone that's in their way. This is going to be a very tactical chess match for Chelsea and PSG for this final. Let's not beat around the bush here. Maresca has to set things up right. The team has to set things up right. They have to have the right mentality. And it is a final. Anything can happen in one 90-minute game of football. This is take it or leave it. Put everything on the pitch and let's go at it. So I really like what Enzo Maresca said here. And he's not really playing things down or trying to suck up to the opponent. He's saying, look, we're going to play our game. We respect our opponent. They are very good. We're going to play our game. When it comes to not having the ball, who told you that? Because we're going to play our game. You can see across the season how things have developed, how we like to do things on and off the ball. You can see that the tactics have changed over time, and even in this tournament, he's tweaked things here and there, and it's worked very well. You can see the togetherness of this squad. You can see how they all work for Maresca. They run through walls for him. So I really like how Maresca has handled this, but I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions down below against Chelsea's chances against PSG. Are you feeling confident? Are you excited? Are you nervous? Are you scared of PSG? Do you think Maresca has handled this the right way? Let me know your thoughts down below. Kieran Gill has reported that Moises Caicedo is involved in full training. And Bobby Vincent reported what Enzo Maresca said when it comes to Moises Caicedo's fitness, and he says Moises is such an important player for us. This morning he trained, but he couldn't take part in the session fully. We hope he can play on Sunday, and this is such an integral part to Chelsea's system, Maresca's system, the way that we play, the mentality, the fight that we're going to have in that midfield, because Moises Caicedo is unbelievable. He's the heartbeat of Chelsea's play, and you could say it's Palmer or Enzo or a myriad of other players, Cucurella, that are so integral to Enzo Maresca's system. But the reality is, if you take Moises Caicedo out of it, it's an extremely hard, near on impossible challenge to replace Caicedo. The only time we've seen it recently is when Andre Santos stepped in his shoes recently in the previous rounds of the game, where he did the Caicedo role to an extremely good level. Reece James was meant to play in that defensive midfield role. He then was pulled up in the warm-up for the game. He was then taken off, and Santos had to step up, and he did a fantastic job. But to expect that of players on a consistent basis, the way that Moises Caicedo plays the game, is just a massive ask. It's just a huge ask. So we are all hoping and praying that he is ready and fit for Sunday, because if he is, it'll be a real test of PSG coming at us and how Caicedo can break things down and get things moving when he breaks things down and passes things from defence to midfield to the final third, along with his partners in midfield as well. So we are hoping and praying that Moises is fit and ready. I feel like he will be. This guy's made of elastic. We've seen the challenges he's ridden and gone on with the rest of the game, the challenges he's gone down with and then been fine the next day. He twisted his ankle the other day, he was training today. Didn't do the full session, but he was still training. That is wild when you think about it. So hopefully he will be fit and ready for the final. But let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. Do you think that André Santos or another player could step into Moises Caicedo's shoes on Sunday if he's not available and do his job to the best of his ability? Or do you think Moises Caicedo will be fit to play PSG? Kieran Gill also reported that there was no Romeo Lavia in Chelsea training. Now this, like I've said previously, it used to really bother me when Lavia wasn't fit and available last season because we had Caicedo, Enzo and Lavia. That was the main three to rotate in those 2-6 positions, really. We know that Enzo pushes forward as an advanced 8 in possession, but he also does the dirty work of a 6 when needed. And I've said previously that I'm not as worried when Lavia isn't injured now because we have Dario Sugo, we have André Santos, as well as Caicedo and Enzo in that rotation. However, no Romeo Lavia, potentially no Caicedo, and no Dario Sugo because he's got muscular problems and is looking to be ready for the start of the season. That's when alarm bells start ringing. That is when alarm bells start ringing. It looks like Lavia will not be playing on Sunday's game. Maybe he makes a miraculous recovery and he can do some minutes in the second half. That would be really cool to come on and do a job for 20-25 minutes if needed. But it looks like we are sort of relying on Caicedo to be back to full fitness. We're also relying on someone like André Santos to fill in if need be because Sugo is not available, Lavia is not available, and Caicedo is a questionable return. Hopefully he does come back. But I want to know your guys' thoughts about Romeo Lavia. Do you feel like he'll ever get over this reoccurring injuries that he keeps picking up? They're not massive injuries potentially, or very small injuries, but there's always something going on over the next. Well, over every sort of 3 or 4 games, he picks something up. He plays limited minutes. He still picks something up. He plays a little bit longer. He picks something up. He does seem to bounce back. But do you think that Romeo Lavia, because of his age and the amount of injuries he's had, do you think he's got long enough to get over this hurdle and then start being a fully fit player for a longer period of time? Taking, Pedro Neto, for example. We bought him from Wolves. He was labelled as an injury-prone player. And he's played something like 50 games consecutively for Chelsea. And he's not been injured. So, there are obviously signs where your players can get over these sort of injury hurdles, whether it's down to training or the recovery process or, the man management of the minutes. Very curious to know your thoughts regarding Romeo Lavia. I personally think that he's young enough to bounce back and get over this hurdle. And now we do have more cover in his position. There's less pressure on him to bounce back as quickly and to stay fit as long as possible. Whereas last season, where it was just him, Caicedo and Enzo, there was a lot more pressure on him because we wanted to see him play. We know how good he is. He's a cement in that midfield. When he is playing, he connects everything beautifully, cool, calm and composed on the ball, especially in very tight areas in the defence. He's great at driving the ball forward and pinging the ball forward into the final third as well. So very curious to know your thoughts on Lavia. Will he overcome these reoccurring injuries or not? Maresca then spoke on João Pedro and whether he was going to start this Sunday, and he says that João is a very good player. We bought him because we think he will help us. He has great quality. We have 48 hours before the final, and we are lucky we can choose different options. We'll see for the final if he's going to play or not. I find this very interesting, and watch later on to the video. I'm going to do the predicted Chelsea 11 and delve into this specific subject a little bit more. But we do have the options of Liam Delap and Pedro, and still Jackson, to be fair, right? So it's kind of 3 different options, and they all bring something different to the table. João Pedro hit the ground running. He had an exceptional full debut, scored 2 unbelievable goals, and in every Chelsea fan's mind, he is nailed on as the number 9. He is the number 9 for us currently, based on what he brings to the table. In his cameo of substitute appearance, he was fantastic, always trying to create something, and in his full debut, scores 2 bangers. And again, still works hard, presses, does all the dirty work, bit of grit about him, he's aggressive, he's physical. Now, when you look at Liam Delap, again, he works hard, he presses, he's physical, got a bit of grit about him, a natural finisher compared to someone like Jackson who needs to improve on his finishing, right? And João Pedro has obviously got amazing ball striking abilities. But I feel like the main difference between the style of play is Pedro could come to feet a lot more, and Delap will get in behind. And Delap can still get in behind, but you could also go long with Delap. And I feel like against a team like PSG, they're going to press heavy, be relentless, just like we will on the press too. It could be that option when we've got route 1 to Delap to go long, to try and break the press and get over PSG's press and try and get into their half when needed. So it's going to be very interesting to see how we line up. Of course, later on in the video, I'll go over my predicted 11 and my thoughts and opinions on it. But I would love to know your thoughts and opinions. Should João Pedro start against PSG, or should it be Liam Delap, or even Nicolas Jackson? Who would you start in the final as Chelsea's number 9? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Maresca then finishes his press conference off with a message to the fans, and he says the message to the fans is we need their support. The team deserves all the trust from them. During the season, we finished top 4 in the Premier League, won the Conference League and played in the Club World Cup. It has been a great season. The biggest achievement for me is 1 year ago. No one was talking about Chelsea and football. Everyone was talking about big squad, etc. This is the biggest achievement of the season, and you know what? I totally agree. And look, I'll hold my hands up and say there's been times in the season where I've been very frustrated and questioned Maresca. There's been a big, a relatively decent-sized portion of Chelsea fans that have wanted Maresca out from the day one. They've just been completely against him, don't want anything to do with him. Any sort of minor slip-up, major slip-up, decision-making, whatever, on his back, want him out. Some fans that I know, or friends that I know, have wanted him out since as early as November, which is wild because at the time we were still like 3rd and 2nd in the league and, in and around that, in and amongst it. Wild. Then you've got the other side of Chelsea fans, which I would like to say myself is giving him a chance, giving a first full season, seeing the ups, the downs, and the in-betweens, and really judging what this guy is trying to do with the squad, a very young squad, the youngest squad in the Premier League, and seeing what we actually achieve at the end of it. The two objectives were secure top 4 and win the Conference League, and he's done both of those, and he's now taken us to a final of the Club World Cup. Now, I understand that fans are reactionary, we're emotional. Okay, of course, I've been subject to this at times in the season. I wouldn't be human if I wasn't subject to this, right? The same with everyone. But I totally agree with what Maresca's saying here. He's fully earned my trust as a fan. I believe in what Maresca's trying to do after watching this club for so many years, and since his reign, and seeing how it's transformed. And, we had that... People say it's a purple patch. It was like 3 months of extremely good form, showing that what we can do, and what let us down was the consistency of taking us through the tough period. And then we fought back in a very tough position to get back into the top 4. And some people call it lucky. Cool, I hear that. But at the same time, if you look at if you broke the season up into 3 sections, you had a really good run of form, a very inconsistent patch, and then we bounced back strong to finish the season. And I think that is a testament to Maresca and his tactics and system that he's constantly tweaked, and the players as well, buying into the system and then developing the playing style together to be able to execute what Maresca wants to do. Is Maresca perfect? Absolutely not. He is not perfect by any means, but I fully support him now, and I feel like if there's any Chelsea fan that still wants him out, I don't know what to tell you. I say he's not perfect, but if he can't win you over by what he's done this season, I don't know what will. And if you're saying a Premier League or a Champions League or whatever, he's going to need to be there a long time for us to be competing at that. So it's kind of a rock and a hard place for a lot of people who wanted Maresca out. But I'd like to know your thoughts. Were you Maresca out and now Maresca in? Does he have your trust? Are you still not convinced by Maresca? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below in the comment section. I'm very curious to know your thoughts. And I do agree with the message to the fans that he has said. We need to support the team. We love being the underdogs in finals. We just love finals. We love knockout football. I am so excited for the final Sunday, and I'm also very nervous because PSG are a very frightening team. But if we all support the boys, we know that they take it on board, and hopefully we can take the Club World Cup home. In Reece James' interview, he starts off by saying that PSG are amazing and we're expecting a tough game, but we also have an amazing team and we're going to surprise a lot of people. He was then questioned about the injury before the Palmeiras game, and he said, I didn't get injured in the warm-up against Palmeiras, so let's put that to bed. I didn't feel so good. I had a warning. I've come a long way. He then goes on to say that I really don't care that people are bigging up our opposition. We're preparing right and we're going there to win. He then finishes the interview by saying, I've been in many finals before when we were the favourites and we didn't come out on top. I absolutely love this, and we spoke about this before on the channel, the mentality of these players and Enzo Maresca and what's been instilled, whether it is that rugby coach, whether it's Maresca directly, whether it's the actual winning culture and the players buying in, I absolutely love. Reece James being like, yeah, we respect our opponent, they're amazing, it's going to be a tough game, but we haven't come to roll over, we've come to win. We've been in finals when we were the favourites, I've been in finals when we weren't the favourites. We are going there to win. I didn't get injured, we put that to bed, standing on business. That's not what happened. This is exactly what happened. We are going into this final Sunday and we are Chelsea. We are trying to win this trophy. And I absolutely love that. He's always had this mentality for sure. But there's more and more players throughout the squad now, and Maresca himself, starting to stand on business a lot more and come out more publicly and more open and talk about these types of thoughts and feelings around the cultures, the club's culture and the team right now. It's amazing to see. Seeing my captain say things like that just before a game where we need to win or want to win, or we're fighting to either get points or secure a trophy, or it's just amazing to see. It gets me excited as a fan, gets me riled up, and it makes me want the game to be here even sooner. So let me know your thoughts and opinions on the recent culture shift and the mindset shift of the Chelsea players. Do you think it's a unanimous thing, that's everyone's united now? Do you think it has a lot to do with the mentality, coach? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. Zach Lowry reported an interview with Colwill, and this is what he said about Maresca. He said, he's definitely given me the confidence that I needed. He's helped me so much and allowed the team to play their best football. If it's tactically or just giving us the right information going into games, we really believe in him. Levi then goes on to talk about the final and people's perceptions of it, and he says, if everyone thinks we're going to lose, then we've got nothing to lose. We've got to go out there, play our football, and hopefully try and surprise everyone. And it's quite funny how that word surprise has come up again. Maresca mentioned it in his press conference. Reece James said we're going to surprise a lot of people. Levi Colwill said we've got to go out there and we're going to surprise everyone with what we can do, how we can play. This mindset that I keep talking about, they are locked in. They are completely locked in, and they just believe in themselves, and they feel like they can win this competition. We feel like they can win it. If you've been watching Chelsea throughout this tournament, you can see we're getting better and better each game. Tighter defensively, better offensively, more clinical in the chances that we are taking, and also chance creation is getting a lot more better and more clinical in terms of opening teams up. I genuinely have a good feeling about Sunday. Yes, I'm a very positive fan. I'm an optimistic fan. But I genuinely feel like Chelsea can do this based on what the manager, the players, and what my eyes are seeing and performance-wise. It's almost, I've got to the point where I'm with the team here. I don't care who we face. I just feel confident that if Chelsea go out there and play their best, we could beat anyone on the night. And I honestly feel like that. So, again, do you agree with what Levi Colwill's saying? I like the fact that he's saying if everyone thinks we're going to lose, we've got nothing to lose then. That's such a Warriors mentality of like, okay, cool, whatever, let them talk their stuff. If they feel like we're going to lose, we've got nothing to lose. We just puts everything out on the pitch and just fight and give everything for 90 minutes, potentially extra time and penalties, but give everything, leave nothing off the pitch, keep it all on the pitch and see what happens. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on what Levi Colwill has said about Chelsea, about everyone thinking that we're going to lose, and what he said about Enzo Maresca. Do you agree? Do you feel like they are locked in and this mentality has really shifted into a winning mentality? Do you feel like the Conference League final or the Conference League trophy has given them the taste of success that they really want to strive and do more often? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. Kieran Gill has reported Chelsea view Nicolas Jackson as a potential £100 million striker and aren't actively looking to sell. Chelsea want to keep Jackson and Delap as 9s and use João Pedro across the attack. Now, I don't know what our owners are smoking. I have no idea, because in what world is Nicolas Jackson a £100 million striker? He may have all the potential in the world. He genuinely may have all the potential in the world. I personally, as an optimistic fan who likes to see the positive in things and see both sides of things, we spoke about yesterday's video how Nicolas Jackson is wanted by AC Milan and other Italian clubs, and his current value is about £43 million. I think that's about fair in terms of Premier League striker, 2 seasons in, still young, an international player, etc. In what world did they see him as a £100 million striker? That is absolutely ludicrous, in my opinion, as of right now. And I am more than happy to be proven wrong. But I read this and I nearly spat my drink out, because I'm like, what? Chelsea see him as a potential £100 million striker and aren't actively looking to sell. But they have also said he's not untouchable and they are willing to listen to offers of a reasonable amount. Same as they did with Noni Madueke. Not looking to sell him, they see potential in him, but obviously £50 million comes in, willing to let him go. Now, if they view Jackson as a £100 million striker potentially, then I wonder what the sort of valuations they have in their head of right now and what they would be willing to listen to. My guess is around 60-70 million if they do see him as a potential £100 million striker. So I think this is very interesting. I'd love to know your thoughts about Nicolas Jackson. A lot of you guys want him gone, and that's fair enough. I hear that. Do you think that Chelsea will sell him this summer with all these Italian clubs that are linked with him? Will they stump up the cash? Do you think £43 million is enough to secure Jackson's services, or would you have to go over that £55-60 million mark, or even £70 million mark to pry Nicolas Jackson away from Chelsea, purely because the owners view him as a potential £100 million striker? I find it strange. So let me know your thoughts and opinions down below regarding Nicolas Jackson. The one thing that I do agree with is that Chelsea want to keep Jackson and Delap as 9s. They see them as 9s, and João Pedro across the attack. That just shows us that Pedro can play as a 9, but he can play across that attacking line, which means he can go in and play different positions that are going to help the team in different scenarios. And I really like that. That is a very clear message. Because look, if João Pedro's played as a 9 and keeps banging in goals, he will be the number 9, right? But the way that they view the profiles is Jackson and Delap as 9s, João Pedro as a Swiss Army knife player. And I like that they're keeping it like that. It makes a lot more sense. And obviously for Maresca, they fit the profile that he was after. So again, we'd love to know your thoughts down below about Jackson. Is he a £100 million striker? Would he ever be a £100 million striker? Very curious to know your thoughts. David Ornstein has reported that Bournemouth reached total agreement with Chelsea to sign Jordi Petrovic for £25 million. Now, we spoke about Petrovic a lot recently on this channel over the last few weeks. A lot of varying sort of conversations. Some people say that, you can't expect to be, Chelsea's number one. You have to go fight for your place. I totally agree with that. Some people feel that he did enough on his development season at Strasbourg, winning player of the season, to come in and be Chelsea's number one. I also hear that argument. There's obviously been a rift behind the scene that Petrovic expects to be Chelsea's number one. He sees himself as a better goalkeeper than Sanchez and Jorgensen. And fair enough, I can see the argument. And I would say that Petrovic is a better goalkeeper than Sanchez. And that's my opinion. You obviously happy to be proven wrong. You're more than welcome to give me your opinions down below in the comments. That's why we like having these conversations. But essentially, they had a gentleman's agreement. Chelsea and Chelsea and Petrovic had a gentleman's agreement for £25 million. He was allowed to leave. Now, it makes me a little bit sad because I thought that Petrovic would at least have the mindset to be like, okay, cool. If I need to fight for the number one position, I'm going to do that because I am a better goalkeeper than the other two. Or whether he's like, I'm not jumping through your hoops because I did a development season and you're still not going to reward me for it in any way, shape or form. And Maresca blindly has faith in Robert Sanchez. I've got no chance. I want to go play football. I feel I deserve it. I'll go to another Premier League club. 25 million? Okay, cool. I'll make sure that the club that I'm talking to can pay the £25 million. And I'm gone. See you later. And I feel like this could potentially be a goalkeeper that Chelsea look back on in years to come and we go, why did we ever sell him? Or this could be a type of contract where Chelsea have some sort of buyback clause in it. We don't know. This is all the information that we've had so far. We're yet to get the here we go, but this is more of a bomber by Ornstein to say that they're in total agreement with Bournemouth. Bournemouth have just picked up an incredible goalkeeper. They had Kepa on loan from us last season. They were like a buy. Arsenal have come in and bought him for £5 million. Thank you very much. And now they've bought Jordi Petrovic for £25 million, and they must be rubbing their hands together because that is an absolute bargain. An absolute bargain. The only positive thing for me is from Chelsea, sort of, if you go to accountancy fans, the profit that we're going to get off Petrovic is good. It's money generated, right? In terms of the Club World Cup and player sales so far, we just had another 25 million slapped on and 48 of fixed, plus the 4 million add-ons with Noni Madueke on top. That's incredible. We've basically made our money back and more from the signings that we've made already this summer, plus the fine from UEFA. It's very good business in that sense. But from a fan's perspective and a footballing's perspective, I'm quite annoyed. Or not annoyed, disappointed that Petrovic is gone because he's going to be a fantastic goalkeeper. We can all see it. And Bournemouth are rubbing their hands together. They're laughing because they've just picked up an absolute worldie. Whether you guys see it now or not, some of you do, some of you don't. We will see over time that Chelsea will probably regret this. But at the same time, it's not to hold it against the club. If that's the gentleman's agreement and that's what happens and it's amicable, cool. Who are we to argue? It's between player and club, right? I have no hard feelings with Petrovic, no hard feelings with the club. It's our club, right? But sometimes there's been players we've mistreated. Sometimes there's been players that have mistreated us. And I don't think this is either of those. I think this is a mutual thing straight down the middle. So I wish all the best to Jordi Petrovic. He's going to go on to be an incredible keeper. He's already at a very good standard. I just hope that he doesn't have a blinder against us because we can all see it happening, right? We'll play Bournemouth and he'll be prime Petr Cech for those 2 games, which means we could probably drop 6 points if Bournemouth can then beat us on the counter or whatever. So let's just not hope. Let's hope that isn't the thing. All right, let's hope Jordi Petrovic has a good time, develops, and has a great career. But I just wanted to bring this to your attention because, again, some people really wanted Petrovic to be number one. Myself included, I want to see him at least fight for it and see him get his opportunity. We saw how good he was under Pochettino, and he's also had that development year. But yeah, Jordi Petrovic, 25 million to Bournemouth. It's all done and dusted. So that's all the Chelsea news. Let's predict this Chelsea starting 11. Now, this game is going to be Enzo Maresca's biggest test and the squad's biggest test because PSG are currently the best team in the world and are blowing teams apart every time they play. They decimated Real Madrid 4-0 with ease. Now, yes, there were some defensive mishaps for Real Madrid, but that's not to take anything away from PSG's performance. We are very much the underdogs in this Club World Cup final, and I'm really looking forward to it. I'm excited for the game, and I'm just praying that these boys turn up and Maresca sets us up in the right way and we can try and get this trophy, because I feel like Chelsea in finals, we turn up when people least expect us to. Now, for today's predicted 11, I'm going with a 4-3-3. Reason being is I feel like a midfield three is one of the only ways to stop PSG and the way that they play. Their midfield pulls the strings. It stretches games apart. It allows their front three to be a lot more fluid, and they can just ping balls into them all day long. And I feel like a midfield three from us could help nullify that. Now, also, we had our injury updates with Romeo Lavia not training and Moises Caicedo being ready and available for the game, which is huge for us and also bad for us. However, we do have cover. So let's get into this predicted 11. I'm going to start with Robert Sanchez in goal. We know that he is going to be the obvious choice. Chelsea's #1 goalkeeper, and I'm going to be honest, I am not feeling confident, because he needs to have the game of his life. He has to have really good distribution. We know his shot stopping is very good, but he needs to be positionally correct. He needs to be commanding in his box, collecting crosses, commanding that box like it was his own. He's getting better at doing that, but this is the game, the biggest game of his career in that sense. So hopefully he has a fantastic game. And if his distribution can be good, well, we could be in for a good bit of luck, to be fair. So let's just hope there's no silly mistakes. No silly mistakes from Sanchez, please, and some great saves if he is called upon. Moving on to left back, we know it's going to be Cucurella. Now, again, he's in for a big game, marking the likes of Barcola or Desiree Doué, or coming up against, Dembele. It's going to be a long day at the office for him, but I feel like he's more than capable of dealing with those attacking threats. He just has to be on his A game, and I feel like he will. It's going to be a long day at the office for him, but I feel like he can deal with it, and hopefully he has a fantastic game and puts him. He's got big pockets. They say he's got big pockets for a reason. Let's hope we see that. Now, when it comes to the centre-back pairing, I'm going to go with Levi Colwill. Now, I really like what this guy's been saying in the press, what he's, all the interviews and stuff. His mentality's really switched. This whole squad's mentality has really switched. He spoke about how, people are expecting us to lose, so we have nothing to lose. I love that. It means we're going to go out there, give everything on that pitch, and hopefully take home a trophy. Because, like I said, Chelsea in finals, we turn up. We're always the underdogs. 2012 Champions League, 2021 Champions League, we were considered the underdogs against that Man City team. We just turn up in finals on the big stage, and this is another example of this very young squad who have a taste of success with that Conference League final. We came from behind 1-0 at half-time to then go win 4-1. Again, it's a different calibre of tournament, different calibre of opposition, but this is the same situation where we're at backs against the walls against the current best team in the world. Can we overcome it? Now, when it comes to who's partnering Colwill, I'm actually going to go with Tosin. Now, people will always argue over Chalobah or Tosin, but in my honest opinion, I feel like Tosin's been going under the radar. He's one of our most consistent and best defenders. He's cool, calm, and collected on the ball, and he's great in the air. He very rarely gets caught out. Very rarely gets caught out. Now, that's no disrespect to Chalobah. Chalobah is a fantastic player, and I love Chalobah. But Colwill and Tosin together throughout this tournament, when it's worked incredibly well. And that's like I said, no disrespect to Chalobah, but this is just who I would choose. Now, right back, I'm going Reece James. We don't want to be seeing him in midfield at all. I don't want none of this plays as a holding midfielder. Get him as a right back. It's going to be a long day at the office for him too. Now, luckily for Chelsea, we have one of the best left backs and right backs in the world currently. That and the other two best in the world fullbacks play for PSG. So it's going to be a long day at the office for both fullbacks if this is going to be a very attacking game. Now, with James, again, dealing with the likes of whoever's on that opposite wing, we know they're very free-flowing on that front three. If it's a Desiree Doué, it's a Barcola, it's that guy that begins with Cat, and I can't ever say his name, but that guy, or Dembele. Whoever it is, Cucurella, James, they're in for a long day at the office, but I feel confident that they can deal with them for large spells, if not the entire game, if they turn up on their A game. Now, a midfield three, this is why I'm going for. I know Maresca throughout this tournament has kind of laid this out as a 4-3-3 throughout the games, and he's kind of tweaked the system, and it's very free-flowing in that attacking sense and in the midfield sense, and it allows our inverting to be very, very flexible as well. We have no Romeo Lavia, but we do have Moises Caicedo. So as that pivot, I'm putting Caicedo because, again, he needs to have a typical Caicedo performance. That guy's a monster. He is an absolute monster. We know it. He's the best holding midfielder in the world currently. You can fight me on that opinion because he is. He's just so good. He twisted his ankle a few days ago and he's fit for the final. The guy's made out of elastic, I swear. Now, when it comes to the other two positions around him, we have no Romeo Lavia. Otherwise, I would have a Lavia-Caicedo pivot, if I'm being honest. where Caicedo could push forward a little bit more with the ball carrying and help out Enzo Fernandez, and Lavia could be that pivot. But he's not available. We have no Dario Asugo either. So it's going to be, on the left-hand side, Andre Santos. And I know a lot of people have been screaming out for him to get more minutes, rightfully so. And he's been fantastic. When he replaced Caicedo for that 90, he filled in his boots perfectly. If he could have another performance like that against PSG, which, bear in mind, last season when he played for Strasbourg, he had 2 10 out of 10 games against PSG. So he's done this before. Can he do it again? Can he do it again? Because this will be a frightening midfield if it can be locked down for this game. So Andre Santos has got big boots to fill, but we know that he can do it. He's an incredible player. And then obviously that last position is Enzo Fernandez. So obviously what would happen is we would invert from the left or the right. I'm hoping it's from the left because Cucurella is a lot more natural at doing it. And that allows the double pivot to be Andre Santos and Caicedo, and Enzo can push forward into that other advanced 8 role. Oh, mate, the way that this team stacks up on paper looks incredible, and the way that it's been playing in Enzo Maresca's tinkered system has been phenomenal, getting better game by game by game. So I'm hoping that if we lay out like this could be something that just halts PSG's midfield, or at least calms it down and slows it down to a bearable amount, because recently they've been unstoppable, and it's their midfield that pulls the strings. If we play a double pivot in midfield against PSG, we are going to get torn apart. If it's a midfield 3 where we have, and obviously we're inverting in possession, so there's always 3 in that midfield, we are going to be okay, at least in my opinion. We'd love to know your thoughts down below regarding it. Now, when it comes to the front 3, on the left-hand side, I'm going to go with Pedro Neto. Obviously, Noni Madueke has been sold to Arsenal. Goodbye, bon voyage. Thank you for the 52 million. Wish you all the best. Now, when it comes to Pedro Neto, we could play on the left and right. Arguably, Chelsea's player of the tournament. He has been playing out of his skin, and with the overarching circumstances around him, what an admirable player. What an amazing character. What an amazing... I hope that he bags a goal in this final, because he thoroughly deserves it with the performances he's been putting in. And the other thing that people seem to have overlooked is when we signed him from Wolves, he was considered an injury-prone player. Since playing for Chelsea, he has not been anywhere near that injury-prone player at all. He's played something like 49 games. He's been super consistent. Enzo Maresca's done super well managing his minutes. And, mate, the run of form he's in, I'm praying that he gets a goal or assist in this game, because he thoroughly deserves it. When it comes to the right wing, we're going with Mr. Cole Palmer. Now, the reason that this works quite well, and a lot of people are saying, oh, he's not a right winger, he's not a left winger. When he plays in this 4-3-3 system that, again, it gives him a bit more space. It allows him to drift inside. It obviously allows us to invert, push Enzo up into that sort of second 8 role, and it gives that front 3 a lot of fluidity. We've seen this in a few of the previous games, where that front 3, you've seen the left wingers playing on the right wingers playing on the left, playing centrally, the centre forward moving to the left channels, right channels, dropping deeper. Gives them a lot of flexibility. And this is something very similar to what PSG do, where their front 3 always intermingle. And the last few games has worked very, very well for Chelsea. So obviously we've seen the likes of Nkunku, etc. He's been on the left, been on the right throughout games, throughout possession, different spells of the game. When we played against Fluminense, and obviously Palmeiras as well was very similar in that sense. So I feel like this can work very well as long as Palmer isn't locked down in that right wing position. If he played centrally, I feel like PSG are going to have a very easy job of locking him down. But when you've got the likes of Palmer on the right wing, and he has that more freedom, where we know he can be very dangerous if he gets the ball, and the likes of Enzo sort of, playing deeper and then coming up to join the play on that right-hand side, he can play very, very well. I mean, obviously, we could see Palmer drop into that 10, and we could see, an overlap from Reece James, potentially, depending on if Enzo Maresca wants him to bomb forward. But again, we could also see him on the left-hand side. We can see him on the left-hand side, partner up with the likes of Andre Santos and Cucurella. So I feel like it gives him the most freedom. So I'm going with Cole Palmer on the right wing. And that leaves the Chelsea number 9. And there's only one answer, right? There's only one answer. Well, technically 2. Because we could play this game in 2 different ways. We could play João Pedro, because he's been absolutely phenomenal. 2 unbelievable bangers that he scores on his first full debut. The work rate, the pressing, the drifting off to the left, the work rate off the left, cutting inside. This guy looks like the real deal. And I'm hoping he goes on the way he started, because what a performance from him. Or we could go Liam Delap, and we have the ability to go long with Liam Delap, which we've not had really with Jackson, because yes, his hold-up play is pretty decent, but it's not the same as the physicality of Delap and what he offers, right? He loves being touch-tight, loves being all up in the centre-back's grills. And, you know, he will go long quite happily. He can make the runs into the channels and stay central. So we could go Liam Delap for the long balls. And I feel like that is always an option because Sanchez can just go long. He hasn't got to worry about his distribution close, you know, in and around the box. Obviously, when we're in possession and whatnot, over passages to play, yes. But if we have the option to go route one, I feel like he'll feel more comfortable. And Delap is a very good outlet for that. However, to start, I feel like we are going to go with João Pedro because, mate, honestly, what... If I could spell that would help. What a full debut. We haven't seen we haven't seen anyone perform like João Pedro since what? Diego Costa. The aggressive physicality, the grit, the pressing, the finishes. Oh, mate. He showcased why he can play as a 9, why he can play as a 10, and as a left mid, all in one game. That second goal was him coming in off of the left-hand side, beating his fullback or whoever was on that side, cutting inside and finishing clinically. That first goal was him being a centre forward, receiving the ball on the edge of the box and thinking, cool, I'm going to put this in the top bins, and shows his clinicality and his technique with it. What a performance. What a performance. And we need a massive performance. I look at that 11 like that and I think we can win this game. I still feel confident that we can win this game, knowing Chelsea's history in big games when we are the underdogs and seeing how we've been playing in this Club World Cup, getting better game by game, more defensively solid, more free-flowing, more grit. The players are all playing for each other. They all run through walls for Enzo Maresca. So that is my predicted Chelsea 11 to face PSG in the Club World Cup final. So that's the latest Chelsea news and my predicted Chelsea 11 to face PSG in the Club World Cup final this Sunday. Do you agree with my lineup or do you disagree? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below in the comment section. I love having a conversation with you guys. And of course, let me know your thoughts and opinions on the news that was reacted to. Now, if you have watched this video all the way to the end, firstly, you're a real one, and I mean that. You are a real one. But secondly, there'll be a thumbnail appears on the screen. So if you are a Chelsea fan who enjoys Chelsea content, make sure to click that thumbnail because you'll enjoy that video too.